Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by JL Financial Solutions. If you're an Albertan looking to plan your financial future, you want someone you can trust. Together with Sun Life's estate and financial planning services, JL Financial Solutions will develop a plan you can be confident in to grow and protect your wealth. Give Jonathan Lambert and his team a call at 780-733-0910.
What's going on, folks? How are we doing tonight? I think I know how Oiler fan is feeling. 2-1, the Oilers trail the Vancouver Canucks after a 4-2 loss in game number 3. We've got Jason Strudwick. We'll eventually have Rob Brown. We've got Chris Sabunia. We've got player reaction. Lots to discuss. What's going on with the goaltending? Oh, plenty of conversation to happen tonight. Coming at you from our long shot studio, our mobile long shot studio tonight. Did you know all Oiler game nights during the playoffs, all you can eat wings, $25 a person. Some conditions apply, but you got to go check it out. Great place to play golf, great place to grab some wings and watch a game. Visit Long Shots in Sherwood Park. Our title sponsor for the podcast, as always, Sherwood Buick GMC. Last month, the team over there awarded with the GM President's Club Award given to the top 50 GM dealerships in Canada. So, what does that mean? They know what they're doing. They know how to take care of you. So if you or anybody that you know is in the need of a vehicle, new or used, go see Phil and the fabulous staff down at Sherwood Buick GMC, 10 Auto Mall Road. www.gmcpod is where you can see all of their vehicles and everything that they have to offer. Okay, let's check in with Jason Strudwick. Struddy, you were watching from home tonight. I was in the building here, as was Rob Brown. We'll get to him in a couple of minutes. We'll get our takeaway or our breakdown done here in just a minute, bud. But if I were to just kind of say to you, like, lead line of the game tonight, what is your absolute headline? And then we will get to breaking it down.
The Oilers didn't match Vancouver's intensity in the first period.
Interesting. So you think that there was a certain amount of die that was cast in the early going here?
I fully expected tonight the Oilers would match their intensity for the final, I'll call it third period, or I guess the third period of last game. They'd bring that to it. They didn't. Guess who did? Vancouver. Yeah. And they were playing catch up the rest of the time, right? They late goal into the first period, late goal at the end of the second period. You're chasing. You're chasing and everything unravels from there. Now, let's leave the goaltending outside of this conversation. But
we're getting to it.
Yeah. But I know because I that's the low hanging fruit. This is that you cannot come into this game not ready to match what you knew was going to be a hard push. JT Miller ready to go. He was ready to battle. Zadorov ready to go. All their main guys, the Oilers players, were not ready to go with the intensity. I'm not talking about turnovers, stops, anything. They just weren't at the same level and chased the game the rest of the night. Yeah, they get the first goal was great, but they didn't have it. They did not have it.
Interesting. Great perspective, Struddy. Let's get to a deeper breakdown brought to you by Mr. Dirk, the iconic men's clothing store. Founded in 1939 just off White Ave and 102nd Street. They've got everything you need, right? Great suits. Wearing a Mr. Dirk special tonight. Pants, belts, shoes, whatever you need on the formal side. They can definitely help you elevate your work look. And then lots of great casual stuff as well, of which I have a bunch. So highly recommend you go Sterling and Dan and the awesome crew down at Mr. Dirk. And you can see what they have. If you want to check them out online before you go, the website is mrdirk.com. Oh, hey, Zuby.
I was just flicking it on and off for Struddy. I don't think he's got the feed properly. Do you have it now, Struddy?
I got it. Oh, okay. Are we good?
Everything good? We're good. No. We're live. We're on YouTube. It's great. Everything's going great.
We're everywhere where we're supposed to be. Love the sounds of that. So, Struds, what were some of the signs for you that the Oilers didn't match the energy early? What were some of the concerning signs for you? Give me some examples.
Okay, so it's the way you engage in puck battles. Even you look at the first 3 goals. The first one was the power play goal. Nuge doesn't get in the shooting lane. He puts his tries to take away the pass to the side. When there's someone walking down Main Street, your priority first is again the shooting lane. Don't worry about the guy passing to the side. That is priority one, especially Brock Besser, who's a shooter. Get in a shooting lane. So just a little bit off there. The second goal, blown coverage. Right now, these things happen, but when all three goals are defendable, these are the points I'm talking about.
And that's Connor McDavid, right? Chasing into the corner, leaving
Connor,
the slot open. Yeah.
Double coverage, duplication, two guys jumping on one. Then the third goal, unfortunately for Warren Fogle, you never throw a soft backhander to the middle, ever. I coached my son's hockey team this morning, and someone did the same thing. I told them, you never, ever throw a backhand soft play into the middle. And same conversation it would have been had with Warren, although he knows it. So those are the three examples that resulted in goals. But look at the first shift. Vancouver came out, and I believe it was twice Ekholm gets rocked. They were ready to rumble. The Oilers weren't ready to match that intensity. So they got on the power play and they scored. But after that, they were chasing the rest of the night, and they chased the game. And they outplayed Vancouver in long stretches of this game. But the problem is this is a start. You're just constantly chasing the game down. Then the late first period goal, late second period goal. I mean, it has all the hallmarks of not just quite being ready to go in the first. And here we are talking about it.
Yeah, I think you make some great points. Like, the Canucks clearly showed up. There was some early physicality. People feel like we're Neanderthals because we talk about hit totals, right? A lot of people just react so badly when we talk about throwing hits. Nobody's suggesting that you need to be running out of position, throwing hits, and being dumb about it. But if you're playing the way you should play in the playoffs to win, you're naturally going to be finishing body checks. That's just simply what's required. Finishing checks. It shows you're finishing plays, you're being intense, you're elevating your game, you're taking care of all the little details. And that is one of the easiest details in the game, is to finish checks. And so that's why it's something I believe is important, because when you're doing it, it means you're taking care of everything that you can take care of, and you brought the requisite energy level. And the Oilers simply don't have enough players that are willing and wanting to engage in this. They don't have enough players. They have players that play big minutes and think they don't have to throw a body check. They think it's not their responsibility. It's not on them. It's not part of what winning and losing is about. And I'm not sure if this head coach doesn't put enough focus on it or what. We listen to some of his comments, and it makes me wonder if he thinks it's important. But I certainly do. And they got a pile of guys that are just whatever. Like Ryan McLeod, I think he had one game where he had 3 hits. I think he's no hits in 4 of his last 5 games, including tonight. Cody Ceci is just never throws a body check. Struds, it's just a way to show you're engaged, and it's a way to show up and make a statement early, and they just don't.
Those are fair points, but it's also a way of wearing the other team down, grinding down, working them down. And you need to have that. You're investing in the future. Game 4, game 5, game 6, game 7. And, it's McLeod has earned it, that kind of criticism, Ceci as well. But Vinny Darnay, 10 minutes tonight, no hits.
He's not right, buddy. He's not moving right. I'm telling you, something's wrong there.
And that's fair. Then you need to somehow embrace this role of being a guy who can knock people around. You look at the end of the game, Zadorov and Soucy abuse Connor McDavid, abuse him. They are not worried about anything. Nothing. Yeah. Just having a good time out there. It's no problem. What are you guys going to do? What are you going to do? Nothing. And it's not about fighting. It's about meeting that level of physicality. And right now the Oilers are either unable to or unwilling to match that physicality. It's taken a toll. It will take a toll. If this goes to 7, that could be the difference, that physicality.
For sure. Okay, we got 2 things we got to talk about. Now, Struds, you're calling goaltending the low-hanging fruit. I'm going to disagree with you here, bud. And maybe you could say that, the win or the loss tonight, it's a low-hanging fruit in terms of saying that's why they would have won or lost this game. But, buddy, it is a storyline in this series. It is a significant storyline in this series. He is getting outplayed by a guy with significantly less experience. The other guy is stopping the Oilers' best chances for the most part. The Canucks' best chances are going in. And if you want to go one by one through the goals, we can talk about whether we felt it was a bad goal or not, sure. bottom line, it's the playoffs, and you got to stop some pucks that you shouldn't. You got to make some saves that are fantastic. You need to be able to come up with some massive saves. And the other guy's doing it. Stuart Skinner is not.
Yeah, I should revisit my choice of words. As far as I should have said, it's the obvious conversation, not low hanging fruit. But they basically mean the same thing. That everyone's talking about it. You go online, I got my phone's blowing up. Everyone's talking about the goaltending. So tonight, Stuart Skinner let his team down. He was not good enough. That's the way it is. And your point, he's 100. You're 100% right. He's getting beat by the third string goalie of Vancouver Canucks. And that guy now, is he getting lucky sometimes? Yes, he is. But you got to be in the right places to make those saves. Right? You got to make them. So, the first goal against, it goes off a stick. Maybe he gets in the way of it. The second goal, Brock Besser, point blank, missed assignment. Okay, let's give him a pass on that one. The third one, again, turnover. It'd be nice to make a save there and come up with something. Then the power play goal. I mean, yeah, it probably could be a save there. So there are options for him to make some saves. It's not like he's seeing a lot of rubber. On the other end, Silovs is making some really good saves. And, he's fighting, he's scrapping for it. Not suggesting Skinner is, but tonight they needed Skinner to be better. And he wasn't up to the task this evening, for sure.
So that starts the conversation of what now, right? So what now? By the way, who said, Andre Sison says, you're talking about luck, ? 41 saves with a pile of exclamation points. Fair point, Andre, but the Oilers hit 4 posts tonight. I mean, that could have been a vastly different game, just a matter of inches in either direction. So you got to make your luck, but you cannot deny that 4 posts in a game like this, catching a bit of luck as a goalie, and that's okay. He will take every ounce of that luck. So the question is, what do you do now with Stuart Skinner, Struds? This is the case. This is the problem. So Stuart Skinner, last season in the playoffs, when his game started going the wrong way, he never really got it back. Pulled, I think, in 3 of the last 4. Never really found the level that you have to find in this round to get your team there. But you know what the Oilers did? They kept going back to him and kept going back to him and kept going back to him. Regardless of how well Jack Campbell played in relief, they kept going back to him, and it didn't work. Here they are positioned where Stuart Skinner has to turn his game around. If he does not, they're going to be in a hell of a tough spot here. So do you bank on Skinner having learned those lessons? And do you bank on Stuart Skinner being in a better place and able to handle the pressure? Well, I can tell you this. One of the most accountable goaltenders I have ever covered. That guy shows up and he answers the questions and he owns his mistakes. He did not come out and do media tonight. We asked for him. We were told he was on the training table. We said we would wait. And then we were told he was not going to be made available. Head coach said he was healthy. Skinner didn't do media tonight. They have to do it. It's not an option. It's something you have to do. There is massive pressure, Struds, and he's been through this before. And tonight, uncharacteristically, didn't come out and show that composure that he normally shows. So what does it look like over the next couple of days? Is there a tough decision to be made here, do you think?
There is. 100% there is. You look at the last couple of games, I think of the short side goal by Zadorov, and I know that's what he's being taught. That's what all goalies are being taught. Doesn't mean I have to like it if I'm a player on that team. Tonight, I didn't necessarily, I think he needs to find another way to get a save. So if I'm the head coach, Calvin Pickard's in net for game 4.
Yeah. And that's, how much of that is looking at the history versus just the play that's happening right here in this series? Because, let's be honest here, Struds, Pickard has no playoff experience, right? He has not done this.
Yeah, and
so he will be new to this, but he was so good this season. 939 save percentage, 2.03. Sorry, no, 1 sec. Grabbing the wrong stats there. 909 save percentage and a 245 is where he was at. Really good during the regular season. So, is it a concern that Skinner's not going to be able to get this done, or do you just feel like you got to give Pickard a look?
I'm not dying to put Pickard in, but I'm uncomfortable with where Skinner's game is going right now, and that's just the truth. You get for the first round, and it was okay, and now you get into this one, and the Oilers could be up 3-0. They could also be down 3-0 right now. That's where it is, and right now they're down 2-1. So this is a huge decision. And quite frankly, one that I'm happy I don't have to make. But if I have to make it, I put Pickard in there because I don't need to make the massive saves. I need to make some timely saves. And also, I don't think we can underestimate how uncomfortable it makes everybody else. Because just like you said, you have no idea how Pickard's going to do. No idea. Because of no NHL playoff experience. So you put him in there. The team is now very uncomfortable in front of him. I think it shakes things up. The team's been playing well enough to be up 3-0, but they could also be down 3-0 right now. So I would put him in there for Game 4, Calvin Pickard.
I would too. I think the team plays hard in front of him. I think they're confident with him. And I think he showed some really good signs this year. One of the best stories in the National Hockey League this year. And I think that there's enough evidence there to go ahead and make that decision. We welcome Vancouver Canucks fans here on the stream, and we know we have a few of them. Love the calm conversation that always ensues. Zuby, full permission. Anybody being a donkey, just toss them. No questions asked. Anybody being an idiot, just get rid of them. But welcome to some Canucks fans. We got some new faces in here tonight, and super pumped. So we definitely want to hear your perspectives as well. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson Soundbox. Season is changing. Now's a good time to get your air conditioner scheduled in for service before the heat hits. Your ducts cleaned before you fire up your air conditioner and blow all that dust throughout your whole home. So check out WeissJohnson.com for all of your home comfort needs. Jingle. Weiss Johnson. Not bad, Zoops. Not bad, buds. You guys pulled post game, so I forgot to check and see exactly what we had. Zuby, why don't you tee up a couple of clips for us, buddy? What did you pick?
Well, you coming off the goalie discussion, we've got you asking coach and his kind of mysterious response.
How he's handling the pressure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Leon, we didn't even know who's.
What's your sense on how he's dealing with the pressure? It doesn't get any greater than it is here in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I think, tonight's one that he'd like to have back. And, we'll see what he's got in the future, whether that's Game 4 or Game 5 or whatever it is. But we'll be seeing Stu again. You have no doubt that he'll respond and play well.
We'll be seeing Stu again. We have no doubt that he'll. I mean, he's got to answer the questions, right? Like, you can't read too much into that, Struds. He's just trying to say the right thing there. But ask point blank if he was committing to Skinner. He said no. It was too soon to do that.
Well, I love how he's just honest. Yeah, we need a little bit better goaltending. Like I'll say this about Knobloch. You always know what he's thinking. Like he doesn't hide things. He just generally he says exactly. Yeah, we need a bit better goaltending. And the words he used there is that we'll see him again. When that is, whether it's Game 4 or Game 5, that tells me in his mind he's leaning towards Pickard. I don't text him, or I don't have his number, but that tells me that he usually tells you what's on his mind, and I think that's where he's going, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Zuby, what else do we have, pal?
We got Fogel eating crow, and we got okay.
Obviously, turn over the pucks. I should know better. Can't beat ourselves there. And unfortunately, I did that, put our team in a bad spot, and then we were kind of chasing the game. But I thought we created a lot of looks. Power play got us some goals, but obviously can't do that.
Northern Farm Girl slapping us upside the head, and appropriately so, wishing all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. Should have been the first thing I said on the show tonight. So Northern Farm Girl, thank you for the reminder. Happy Mother's Day. I've got Donna, and I've got Carol, and I got Randine, are some of the great mothers in my life. Struds, you?
Yeah, Doris, Tara, and Shona. Yeah,
beautiful.
Pretty awesome. So, yeah. For Fogel.
Sorry, I better jump in and shout out. I better jump in and shout out Jenny listening in St. Albert. And
because she's always listening. Right?
Yeah, they're always listening. They put it up. They told me they figured out how to put it up on their TV. They're loving it. They're watching every post game show on the TV there. And of course my wife Melissa and my mother-in-law Cynthia and sister-in-law Andrea. I could keep going. Anyway, happy Mother's Day.
All the wonderful mothers in our lives. Struds, that was a bad one by Fogel, man. That was a bad one.
And we've all been there. Anyone who's played any level of hockey from Division 27 men's league, all the way up to the NHL, you've all done it. But again, it's the timing, right? It's the timing. I believe that is late, 2 minutes left in the period, and you get through that period 2-1. You're like, okay, guys, like, as I mentioned, they didn't compete in the first period like they needed to, or how they ended the game 2. So, you get through, okay, it's okay. Now it's 3-1, just a little bit bigger mountain to climb. So yeah, that's just the last 5 minutes of the period. Just know where you're at, know what's happening, understand the moment. And I call that game management. And we've talked about this a lot over this pod in the last few years, and it has improved from the Oilers, but just one little slip and bang, it takes you down. And should give full credit to JT Miller's line. They were the best line on the ice today. Oh, actually, Lindholm was pretty good too. But they had a whale of a game today, competing against Connor and Leon. They scored the goals. I mean, that line was ready to rumble. Crushed in game 2, came back and crushed it in game 3.
We'll get to potential changes, what we think they should do with the lineup in our takeaways segment. Rob Brown is going to be joining us here. He's finishing up his show with Reed over on 630 Ched as well. So we have lots more to discuss about this game and moving forward. Before we get to our relentless player struds, I do want your perspective on Skinner not talking tonight. So I don't want to come off as a media guy whining. Stuart Skinner's always accountable. He always comes out, and it's always appreciated. But the league rules state if you played, you have to talk, right? And in the playoffs, we put in requests. Everybody that played is supposed to be made available. They're violating league rules, which whatever. Not going to be sort of that rules dork. But bottom line, I read more into it like it's out of character for Stu Skinner. This is very, very, very out of character for Skinner to make the decision not to come out and talk when the whole media group is standing there waiting for him. What do you read into that?
Yeah. So I'll say, as if I was on his team as a player, I really wouldn't care. I'm worried about him. His play right now is
sure.
It's not right. I understand that those are the rules, and he has his habit. He's very patient with his time with the community, the media. He's really good. He's a great ambassador for the Oilers and a great role model. I see those lists on the wall. The guys are on the scrum, the guys are on the desk, and all that. I guess he come out there and what's he going to say? I got to be better, this and that. Like, it's kind of the same thing. Yep. So I'm guessing it'll be made available tomorrow. I think the availabilities are around lunchtime.
Yeah, probably.
So 24 hours or 12 hours for him to just digest that, because he probably, just guessing, he feels a little bit unsure of where his game is at right now, which is a scary feeling for him. And it feels terrible as a teammate. Like, when you're unsure about your game, God, it feels bad, especially at these crucial moments in the games. Like, even Fogle, not to change the subject, but tough one there on that. And then in the second period, they had a penalty kill, and twice he tries to beat someone instead of just shooting down the ice. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, just get it down the ice. You're not trying to score. You're trying to get it out. And you're trying to, again, it comes from a place of trying to do too much. Just get it down the ice. Just ice it down. So Fogle spoke. I think we'll see, or I'm guessing that Skinner
he will
do tomorrow.
But here's what changes, though. And this is why I think players need to kind of condition themselves and be used to this. Because what happens when you're in the third round and when you're in the Stanley Cup final is the National Hockey League steps in, Struds. They step in and they take over doing all of the media. So it's no longer the team media relations. And if you ask for a player in the third or fourth round, you get that player. There is no ducking media at the most important time of year.
Sure.
So I think you need to be conditioned and ready to just come do it. No matter what happens, no matter how bad, it's just part of it. Because when you get to the biggest dance there is, you're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
And I just think you need to get used to doing that. Anyways, I'll leave that be, because I know, generally speaking, people don't care too much about that. But just something that I know, very out of character for him. Okay, Struds, let's get to the relentless player of the game, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity relentless in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and get employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. Struddy, I'm thinking it's probably going to be a Canuck tonight, buds.
Oh, easy. Yeah, and there was a lot of good Canucks. Like, I'll be clear, I think the Oilers could have won this game, but they didn't. And so the reason, I believe, was the defensive zone play of the Canucks, keeping the Oilers mostly to the outside. 40 shots, but did they have 10 great chances? But Silovs, I mean, this guy, I'm so impressed by him. And I do think he's getting a little bit lucky, but I think that's unfair.
For sure.
I think that's actually disrespectful to him. So I don't want to use that word. He's getting it done. I think if the Oilers keep this pressure on, eventually he'll break down. But if I'm wrong, the Oilers got a big problem. But Silovs, great game by him tonight. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, I like that. I like that pick. It's been good, man. And Farhan and I have been talking a lot about him. I don't know, Struds, do you recall guys that came in at key moments that maybe didn't know better? Like, didn't even realize, but you should be shaking in your boots right now, and you are not. But Farhan feels like he's got a little bit of that going, right? Just kind of doesn't know what he doesn't know, flying by the seat of his pants, happy-go-lucky, just kind of rocking and rolling, man.
Well, his post-game was great. They asked him about the Corey Perry, and he's like, oh, I knew I had it. Like, he just, and I just, like, it wasn't cocky or boastful, but he would just shut the conversation down. And I think those are the words he used. I knew I had it. Okay. And that was it. Like, he just, and I couldn't tell if it was in or out either. So I thought it was great. Like, he seems very truthful, just very honest. This is what I see. This is what I'm doing. And he's just a cute little guy. Like, he looks so little when he's in his stall. Like, he looks like I can coach him next year, like U15. But he's doing a great job. And so I grudgingly have a lot of respect for him because he's in a tight spot. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, I agree. High quality play. And man, you gotta make your breaks. Like, it's okay to acknowledge that the Oilers are banging all kinds of pucks off and posts in a game like tonight because he's also making saves that he probably shouldn't, right? He took some goals away. He totally took some goals away. And in the playoffs, if you're going to go anywhere, you need a goalie that is taking goals off the board. That is what's required, and that's what you need to have. This idea that just get mediocre. No, you need to have a goalie who can be fantastic in big. Not all of them, but in the right ones, be fantastic. Zuby, we got a scoreboard tonight, buddy?
Pardon me. Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do our scoreboard before we get to takeaways in our next segment. Brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center, aiming to help you play better golf with golf fitting instruction, after-sales support, golf merchandise, and clothing. Celebrating 25 years. Check out their pro shop style atmosphere located at 5311 99th Street here in Edmonton. Zuby's got our scoreboard. Then we'll take a short break. Hammer that thumbs up button, folks.
Oh, I was almost going to have the scoreboard music playing really loud, but I just caught it at the last second.
Attaboy.
Okay, well, one other game on the docket tonight. Panthers defeat the Bruins by a count of 3-2. They're going to take a stranglehold, 3-1 of that series, headed back home, right, to Florida. Good chance for them to close it out. Of note, of course, Brad Marchand did not play. Think that we all knew that was coming after the injury. And there was some controversy in that game with the Sam Bennett power play goal, whether or not they challenged for goalie interference. I don't know. You guys have a quick comment on that? Are you going to get to that later, Struds, or no? Do you want to comment?
I'm getting to it later.
Okay.
Yeah, stay tuned, folks.
It's up
stay
there.
tuned.
Okay, we're going to get into it. So I think it should not have been a goal, but we'll save that. And then, of course, Panthers scored another goal a couple minutes later after the power play from the challenge. And Jeremy Swayman played in that game. I had one other note, but I forgot it. But that is... What else did I have? I had something good. Okay,
That's
well,
okay, bud. You're good. You got it. You nailed it. Our scoreboard.
We got Brownie on the line. He's going to be with us here when we come back. So that was your DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center scoreboard. Stick around. We'll be back in 1 minute.
The fastest growing male grooming company on the planet just got even better. Backscape 2.0 with a revolutionary friction fit handle makes the razor easy to pop in and out to shave not only your back, but anywhere on your body. And those hard to reach spots just got even easier with the new ergonomic design. Backscape's new titanium shave head makes for a smoother, more comfortable shave that respects your skin. Backscape 2.0. Stay smooth, gentlemen.
On paper, my life looks exciting.
In reality, not so much.
Every day it's same old, same old.
Clock in, clock out.
Then I discovered Play Alberta. I can play casino games anytime.
Bet on any game.
And buy lottery tickets anywhere in Alberta. I think my spleen is ruptured.
Time now for takeaways, brought to you by FG Promotions. When it's time to step up your brand game, turn to FG Promotions for quality, consistency, customization. They've got it all. Mention this ad, get yourself 10% off your first order. Plus, they've got awesome incentives programs as well, offering discounts on personal golf gear. FG Promotions has your back. Head over to fgpromo.ca, mention the podcast, and let's help you get that brand shining. As we welcome into the show, Rob Brown. Struds and I just did a full breakdown segment, Brownie, but there's a couple of key elements that we have to get your thoughts and your opinion on. First and foremost, we talked a lot about Stuart Skinner in that opening segment. So give us your thoughts, Brownie, on the play and who you would start in net next game.
Well, the play hasn't been good enough. I don't know if you could fault him on any of the goals today, but through, 8 games into the playoffs, I think, for the Oilers, there's 26 goalies that played in the NHL playoffs this year. Stuart Skinner is 21st in save percentage at .877. It's just, you need more. You got a goalie in the other end, as you just said, Shaugger, pulling goals out of the net. Like, he probably took 5 or 6 where you thought, okay, here's a goal. God, wow, he just made that save. We're not getting those moments from Stuart Skinner. So we had a caller call in tonight, and he made a good point. Was Calvin Pickard put in the third period because the coaching staff realized that there probably wasn't going to be a whole lot of push from the Vancouver Canucks, and he gets a little bit of game time before you start him in Game 4. Start thinking about it. That's a really good point. So I still think it's Skinner in Game 4, but it would not shock me if Calvin Pickard goes in. Stuart Skinner has not given them the saves that they've needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brownie, I'm on record. I believe that it'll be Pickard in Game 4, and I love that point. I hadn't thought about that. Your caller is right on. I just think that I think they need just that little bit more consistent save. And Skinner had a great regular season, and it's just matching those two things. I just don't see it right now for him. And the big thing for me is the timing of the goals. The goal at the end of the first period, goal at the end of the second period. Your point's pretty well made that they won't, maybe it's not his fault, but you still got to find a way to get one. If they kept it at 3, I think the Oilers win the game. Once it got to 4, well, obviously 4, I think it's a done deal.
Go ahead, Brown. Anything else on the goalie?
Well, no, I agree with you there. The Lindholm goal is not a great goal. They need more out of Stuart Skinner, and it's not just him. When you just talked about regular season, the playoffs, there's a few players on the Oilers that have been good regular season players for the Oilers.
For sure.
Come playoff time, they haven't been good enough. McLeod, Fogle, they need more from a bunch of different players, but the most important one is your goaltender. And right now in this series, all 3 games, Silovs has been the better of the 2 goalies, and that's not something that we would have expected.
A couple of good contributions here on the Weiss Johnson stream. Adam Burris says Skinner is such an anomaly. I can't pin him down. He looks so sound in the regular season. It doesn't make sense, or it doesn't seem like he has any nerves, so I don't know how he consistently plays poorly in the playoffs. And then another point was made, although I can't seem to get to it here, but the basic idea was the problem is if you start Pickard and he doesn't play well, you've got a cooked Skinner, and now you got Pickard, who very little playoff experience, right? His body of work in trying to meet this moment, there's basically it's not there. So what position do you risk putting yourself in, Brownie, if you do start Pickard and it doesn't go well, I guess?
Well, that's a big risk. Again, it's an unknown. But you're one of these things. The biggest game of the season now for the Oilers is Game 4. You do not want to fall behind 3-1 to a really good Vancouver team with 2 games of the last 3 possible on home ice with a goalie that has already shown he can steal you a hockey game. So to me, Pickard is an unknown, but the problem is the known part of Skinner has been in sub-900 save percentage in back-to-back playoff years. And that doesn't get you a long ways in the playoffs because there's only 5 players below him in the standings for save percentage. All of their teams are out of the playoffs as of right now. So I think it'll be Skinner, but again, as Strud said, Pickard, it would not surprise me if Calvin Pickard was in. But now you are rolling the dice with a complete unknown.
Can we talk about the rest of the lineup? Because I think we know the last two games, the bulk of the opportunities have come from the same line and the same guys. They're doing what they can, and some nights they're going to bang in enough to outscore their mistakes, and some nights they're not going to. Tonight they didn't. But we're not going to question, necessarily what they brought to the table tonight, but I think we need to look at the rest of the lineup here, Struds. I'm going to start with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I'm going to start with Ryan McLeod. I'm going to look at Warren Fogle. I'm going to look at this support scoring. Even Corey Perry, who I know he's limited in how fast he can get around out there, but he's in the lineup and he's occupying space. Like, where are these guys? Where are the contributions? You do not go anywhere in the playoffs without some semblance of some secondary scoring or even some sort of momentum-changing type shifts from your third-line center, for goodness sakes.
The way that Knobloch is using the big five reminds me how you two come out of the gates flying with your New Year's resolutions about working out and stretching and all that stuff. He's just going willy-nilly. He's all in. He's hammering these guys all day, all long. And the big minutes, I don't believe it's the answer. I think they have to split the big guys back up, spread it out, and get some depth through this lineup. Nugent-Hopkins is struggling. I thought he really struggled with the puck on the wall today. Making plays, getting pucks under control. And so you can kind of go through all the guys, but I think that you've got to beef up the rest of the lines and everything will fall into place because you can't play these guys 30 minutes a night through the next, I guess it'd be 3-4 games. And B, if you get past this round, you're going to have dog-dead tired guys heading into round 3. So I guess you're screwed if you don't do it because you don't get through. But if you do it now, you might not get through because they'll be too tired by game 6 or 7.
Well, and Struds, to go on that point with it just riding the one line over and over and over again, you look at what Rick Tocchet did tonight. They had 2 guys come in out of the press box. Number 88, Amon, I think his name is. He killed the second penalty in the third period. He was one of the penalty killers. In one of the biggest moments of the game, this guy came from the penalty box from the press box, and his coach believed in him, had him out there killing a penalty. Number 94, what's number 94's name tonight for Vancouver? I apologize because I can't think of it right now.
Wasn't it Carlson?
But he's another
Linus
guy that was
Carlson?
just yeah. He just got inserted in the lineup too. He had 4 games. He was out with a minute 34 to go in the hockey game. A minute 34, he's on the ice. Rick Tocchet, there's another one, face off in his own end. They were able to change. He put his 4th line out there knowing McDavid was coming out. So they are getting contributions, not all offensive ones, but contributions throughout their lineup at big moments in the hockey game. That breeds confidence for a hockey team. They believe in each other. They believe in all of them. Whereas the Edmonton Oilers, what was it, the last 5 minutes of the game was their one line? I mean, other than the 2-second face-off play with a minute 40 to go, they ride one line. That is not a recipe for success.
Okay.
And the Canucks are a good team. The Canucks are a very good team. But whoever gets through this series, the next team's harder. And if you get through that series, the following one's harder. So, yes, I think that they need to start throwing some other players into the fray to see what they're capable of doing. Because 6-7 minutes a night, it's really hard to have a big contribution in a hockey game.
Okay, so I'm going to come to the defense of the head coach a little bit here, guys. We're talking about this like it's some sort of chicken and egg. Well, if you play the 3rd and 4th lines more, then they would have an opportunity to play better. Oh, well, if they played better, would they earn more? There's no question about what's going on here. Chris Knobloch is desperate for some guys to start playing playoff hockey for him. The second somebody starts doing it, they will get played. They will get ice time. They will get worked in. He is waiting for somebody else to step up and do it. And he's got a pile of guys that are not doing it.
I don't fully agree with that. I thought Janmark was very good in this game. I thought Derek Ryan was good in this game.
4th line was good.
Yep, that's 4th line. How much ice time did they get?
Derek Ryan, I think has been good. He had 7.5 minutes.
6:18, Janmark was.
And what was Janmark?
6:18.
Yeah, and Brown was 8
so
minutes.
Elevate
there
him,
you go.
you're saying.
So there's three guys.
Well, you just said that if someone plays and they will get the ice time. Janmark and Ryan were very good in this hockey game, and they got no ice time. So I disagree with what you said there, that if Knobloch has guys that are showing something, they will get ice time. That's not true. Those fourth line guys were not going to get any more ice time.
Do you think they were offensively dangerous, though? Like, I'm meaning more guys.
They were. They create. Doesn't matter offensively dangerous. They were creating things. They were physical. They got pucks on net. They created chances. They're not going to. They played 6 minutes. Give them 20. Give them 30 minutes. Maybe they score a goal. And then don't think they get that ice time. But you can't just say that if you play better, you'll get more ice time, because it's not true. That fourth line is not getting any more ice time than they got. The fourth line for the Oilers has outplayed their third line every game of this series.
Yeah, and I think maybe what he's leaning towards doing, Struds, is rather than elevating guys and just flat out benching guys, he's just leaning on the big guys instead and just rolling them out over and over and over again. Because to your guy's point, he could have easily had Janmark on a line that kept rolling right through the third period. But that would have meant maybe having to sit down Ryan McLeod or sit down someone else, because you're cutting your bench back for sure to get those other guys out there a lot. So there's fewer minutes. But he's still playing guys deep in games in those other shifts that probably don't belong out there based on the night that they've had.
That's fair. But, you still got to get out and get opportunity to play. You look at the right side shot defenseman, Bouchard 31, CC 15, Darnay 10 or 11, whatever it is. It's pretty crazy. Most teams, it's kind of 20 or 22, 25, and then a 15. So I get it. I understand what he's doing, but I think he's boxing himself into a corner where these guys are playing all the time. And, on the broadcast, you guys didn't watch it, but they talked a lot about, everyone's waiting around for these guys to do it. Yeah, well, because they're on the bench. They literally have to wait to get going. I think you got to split them back up again, spread out the love, get them going. There's no doubt in my mind they miss a healthy Henrik. That is a big problem for them. But he's not going to miraculously heal overnight. So hopefully he's better towards the end of this series.
You guys want to talk a little bit about kind of some of the nasty stuff, what went on at the end of the game there? I know fans will probably want us to talk about it. McDavid took a couple of pretty hard shots. I only saw one replay on it. So maybe I'll defer, Struds, to you because you were watching the actual broadcast. It looked to me like McDavid threw a pretty wicked two-hander and then got cross-checked in the back and then from the front at kind of the same time. But it looked like he maybe started that by throwing that pretty vicious two-hander.
Yeah, I actually didn't think it was that bad of a two-hander. I don't think.
Okay.
I think it looked worse than it was.
Okay.
We bring your stick back, so not to change what you're saying, but I didn't think it was crazy bad. But then the cross-check from behind was timed perfectly with Susie kind of cross-checking down as his face is going down and hit him in the chin. So luckily he wasn't hurt there. But quite frankly, guys, I love this from the Canucks. If I'm a Canucks fan, what's the worst thing that happens? You're going to get fined. Or maybe you get a penalty at the end of the game for 2 minutes. Like, that's perfect. I talked a little bit. We talked earlier about kind of making it rough on some of the Canucks stars. There's the two, muscle men for the back end of the Canucks, and they made life really ugly for him. Him being Connor McDavid at the end of the game. I don't think it's a suspendable play. I don't believe that. I think it might be a fine. It's like $2,500. That's worth it. That is worth it all day long.
Yeah, no, when in real time, it looked vicious. In real time in the press box, then all of a sudden you saw Connor McDavid standing. I'm like, how is he standing up? I thought he was going to be covered in blood on the ground. I don't believe Susie tried cross-checking him in the face. I think that it was the result of the hit from behind. The Zadorov cross-check, that hurts. That is a 250-pound man cross-checking you with full force. Like that would be way worse than what he got on the jaw. I do believe the NHL should look at it. I don't know if there will be a suspension, but I agree with you, Struds. Going into this playoffs, we talked about the Oilers got to be hard on Doughty. And then in the next series, they got to be hard on Hughes and Pettersson. And they have been to a point, but that means other teams are saying we got to be hard on Leon, and we got to be hard on Connor. Well, the LA Kings tried to be, but they weren't physically capable. The Canucks are. Zadorov and Susie are big and mean. And let's start at the start of this hockey game. Now, you guys probably talked about it. The first shift of the game, Lindholm and then Dakota, both absolutely run over Ekholm. They set the tone for the game. Ekholm is a mountain. And back-to-back time, he got railroad right over in 5 seconds. So the Vancouver Canucks are a team that understands where they have to play, and that's in the trenches, and they were very good at it tonight.
Well, and to hear the head coach of the Oilers talk, and I've questioned him about physical play and body checking through this series, and, there doesn't seem to be a lot of onus put on it, right? It's something that he, at least saying outwardly, is something that he's too worried about or focuses on. But I see a night like tonight where the temperature goes up. Good teams know how to take the temperature up in a series like this, and part of that comes from being physical on the other team's best players. Part of that is from demanding it from one another. Part of it is from guys stepping outside their comfort zone to do it. That's what playoff hockey is, and I believe it's acceptable on this Oiler team to be a no-hitter. I think it's acceptable. I don't think they hold each other accountable, or we wouldn't be seeing it. Bottom line, whether the coach wants it or not, if your best players are out there doing it, and if it's demanded by your leadership group, it just happens. And it's something that I think Struds is lacking from this team right now.
It's the start of the game. I talked about it. The Oilers weren't ready to match the intensity of Vancouver. They finished off at a certain level, and I believe the Oilers came down, and Vancouver went right above them. And those two hits that Brownie's talking about, we highlighted them earlier. They're just the Oilers. You need to set the tone and come out and play hard and be assertive and let the other team know that you're here to play tonight. I thought the Canucks did in the first period. The Oilers chased it down the rest of the way. And so, guys might be nicked up. Everyone's hurt. Everyone's, got nicks and bruises here. You got to find a way to be physical when the opportunity rises. And I don't believe the Oilers are doing it enough early in the games.
Mm-hmm. The other thing, too, is when you have the puck all the time, it's hard to throw hits, right? So we got to be fit. Like, you look at the total hits tonight, and it doesn't necessarily, when you have the puck all night, your hit totals aren't going to be as much. But to your point, Struds, it's a way to set the tone, and they don't.
Yeah, we look at it like Darnell Nurse the other night against Pettersson.
Yeah.
Really hard hit. And I think the other side of that, too, and I believe as I looked through it, face-off. The first game, the Oilers got really tough night to face-off. Tonight, pretty tough night. Game 2, they won that battle. So, again, just being ready to start and come out there and win that face-off. I know there's a lot of people who don't believe in face-offs. I personally do. I think they're really important. Another way of showing it, just kind of a little bit, it's like what's that canary in the coal mine, right? Just like, oh, boy, this doesn't look good. It's a warning sign.
Brownie, what'd you see on the power play? 2 massive, massive opportunities late in that game. What are you seeing? What has Vancouver figured out?
Well, I don't know if you can really say they figured it out because the Oilers could come back and score 4 next game. But I do believe they're a little more aggressive in the defensive zone. I think they're forcing a little bit more, which to me you have to do. I think they're doing a great job of fronting shots. They're not allowing Bouchard to get his shot through. They have made a concerted effort to skate up the ice with McDavid, and they're saying, Bouchard or someone else carry the puck in. We're not giving you free access. So they're doing all those things. The Oilers still get their good chances, and then the biggest thing is they got saves. Silovs made some big saves on those, but those were massive. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but as soon as the Oilers got the power play, I'm thinking, all right, you're going to pull within 1. And to have back-to-back power plays snuffed out, that's a credit to the Canucks. But there's one point I wanted to make, though, about the game tonight. And I know that there was a couple questions. I think it was Spectre asked about getting goalied in this game. Silovs was excellent in this game. But for me, the problem for the Oilers in this game tonight, they outshot the Canucks 45-18 and lost the game 4-3. The Florida Panthers played Boston tonight, almost the exact same stat line. They outshot Boston 41-18. The difference in the game, the Florida Panthers only needed 3 goals to win. Swayman was awesome. He was incredible in the game. Florida Panthers could only beat him 3 times, but they only gave up 2 against and won 3-2. Tonight, the Oilers scored 3 goals. They got 3 goals on this guy and almost the same amount of shots, but the Oilers needed 5 to win. And this is the problem that the Oilers had last year in the playoffs against Vegas. They had problems early in the season where they would score 3 or 4 goals, but they needed 5 to win. And to me, that's not so much they got goalied. to me tonight they gave up too many grade A scoring chances early in this game, and now they need 5 to win a hockey game. You can score 3, maybe you might even score 4, but you're asking your team to score 5 because you gave up 4 the other way.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, guys, let's get to changes for next game and what you would be contemplating. We've all stated our thoughts in net. Struds and I think it's should be Pickard. Brownie says go back with Skinner. But what are you thinking in terms of other changes, Struds? Obviously, there's options on the blue line if we think Desharnais isn't healthy, and I don't think he is. I think his minutes are reflecting that. What are you doing, Struddy?
Well, it gives me a reason to kind of rethink the way things are at when I look at what happened with the changes that Vancouver did. And the problem with bringing out Vinny is let's assume he isn't healthy and he's only able to penalty kill, then that's a pretty valuable tool. So I have a hard time taking him out of the lineup. So I'm going to leave the D the same because, after that, I don't need Stetcher in there killing penalties. He's a much smaller guy. I think it screws up that rotation. So he's staying in. Up front, I'm splitting the guys up. The guys being 97 and 29. They're split up for sure. And then you kind of build around them. Probably elevating, probably Holloway up there to play with somebody. But you need to get more help. You need to get help out of there. And Nuge, right now, there's not a lot coming out of there. So I think I drop Nuge out as well. Nuge with McDavid or with Leon. McDavid gets Hyman, then he figured out after that.
Yeah, I don't see Stetcher coming in unless Vinny is hurt bad enough that he can't play. Stetcher is to me he's a big drop off from the 6 they have, and he's only coming in if someone is unable to play the game due to injury. Up front, the problem is, I guess it would be: do you want Brown or do you want Carrick? Which one would you prefer to have in the lineup? Because Janmark and Ryan have been good. The players that have underachieved is the entire third line, but I don't see any of them moving out. I like the fact that Holloway moved up in the lineup tonight, and he got some, real minutes, and I thought he looked fine. But they do. I do agree that next game that Connor and Leon will be together at times, but also apart at times, because just sitting up in the stands or in the press box watching, it's one of those ones where when Connor and Leon were on the ice, you felt there was a chance they could score. And then when they were off, the Canucks survived. Now the next few shifts, okay, here comes Connor and Leon again. So it's just, they only had to survive one shift. Where if Connor and Leon are on opposite shifts, well, now they've got to survive 2. And that gets a little bit harder for them. There's a little more stress, a little more pressure. So I think that having them split up and then just put together at the end of periods or at the end of penalty kills would probably make this team a better team.
Yeah, probably elevate Holloway because nobody else is playing well enough necessarily. I could see Evander Kane up in that top 6. So let's assume Henrique's not available. I think your top 6 are Kane, Hyman, and then the other 4. Kane, Holloway, and the other 4. And yeah, I think you got to consider Dylan Holloway, maybe even on McDavid's line with Hyman. I think those two, can probably carry a young player on that line. Then you reunite Nugent Hopkins with Kane and Leon Draisaitl maybe as a second line. And I'm bringing Sam Carrick in, you guys. I think that Sam Carrick, one thing he's going to do is he's going to finish checks. He can help you out with some penalty killing if you need it. I know he's not the fleetest of foot, but I'm probably bringing in Sam Carrick and, looking at Connor Brown potentially at being the guy that comes out. But they got to do something. They got to inject a little bit of nastiness.
Here's one for you, Shaugger.
Yeah.
Shaugger, here's one for you. What about bringing Carrick in, playing with Janmark and Ryan, and putting Brown on the third line and pulling Perry out?
Yeah. It's not a terrible thought, and based on quality of play, I would say it's not a terrible thought. The issue I have with that, and I know it's not going to be Ryan McLeod, and I'm not saying that it should be. It shouldn't be. He needs to be in the lineup, and he needs to be playing. But I see Corey Perry, going to the net and trying to, get into the dirty area and stand there and annoy people, and I see his line mate, skating around like nothing's happening, not even paying attention to what's going on. That his veteran line mate's in the crease with 3 guys. And Ryan McLeod skating around, looking up at the scoreboard, Lottie freaking da, right? from a competitive standpoint, the idea that Perry would be the guy that has to go, it's just annoying, but it's not a terrible thought, Brownie, based on quality of play the rest of the time. Struds, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, you could tell Perry early on was trying to get into it, right? He was trying to push guys around and kind of get in, but it doesn't seem like Vancouver. It's like they're trying just to stay away from him. They don't want him to become a factor. So it was something I hadn't thought of, but I think there might be something there. But they need Henrique back. Like, if it is a high ankle sprain, it's not easy. Not easy unless you're Leon Draisaitl to come back from those bad boys.
Yep, 100%. Okay, that was the breakdown brought to you by FG Promotions. Okay, guys, and sorry to everybody, we're sort of like producing on the fly here. I think what we're going to do here, because I'm going to get locked out if I don't go. So I'm going to hop out, and next segment, you guys, why don't you do Brownie Points and Struddy's World? And then Zuby, maybe what I'll do is I'll get in the truck and get driving home, and like Brownie, how close are you to being home, pal?
I'm sitting in my driveway.
Are you sitting in your driveway? Okay. Hang in for one more segment with Struds, and then I'll call back in.
Okay.
And Struds and I will finish it.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Zuby, you can take us to break, and then Struddy's World and Brownie Points, and we come back. And you guys just kill some time till I hop back in.
Okay.
Nailed it.
We're live pod streaming here, folks. We're producing on the fly. Stay with us. Lots more to come.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com. Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca.
Spring is here, and if you're thinking of buying a new home during the housing market hot period, contacting a mortgage broker should be your first step. Maria Gallus with Maximo Mortgages can guide you with a stress-free experience. With access to dozens of different lenders, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you ready to put an offer in on your dream home. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
All right, let's get to Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Hamel's world-famous jerky is located right here in Alberta. Using prime Alberta beef, their jerky is available in 14 tantalizing flavors, including the famous sweet and spicy, that jerky that went to the International Space Station. Family owned and operated since 1962, this great game day snack can be shipped to you anywhere in Alberta. For the entire month of May, 1.5 pounds of jerky for $55 and free shipping. Visit albertajerky.com. Brownie, point me up, buddy.
Here we go. Let's start. We got 44 Brownie points to Zach Kassian. There was a great opening before the game where Zach Kassian sitting in the dressing room talking to the crowd. And he got the crowd all revved up. And then later in the game, they showed some highlights of him. They put him on the Jumbotron, and the place was just rocking. So 44 Brownie points for Zach Kassian because he was number 44, and also because I believe he used the F word on the Jumbotron 44 times as well. We got minus 50 Brownie points to the National Hockey League as, again, goalie interference has caused confusion. Jim Montgomery of the Boston Bruins decides, as he's the coach, he decides to challenge a goal thinking there's goalie interference. You're not doing that in a 2-2 game in the third period unless you're pretty certain it's goalie interference. The NHL and the referees disagree. The Boston Bruins become shorthanded. They lose the game by a goal. We are, I don't know how many years into this league or this rule change, Struds, but you got a coach who's been around a long time who's 100% certain it's no goal, yet it was called a goal and the Boston Bruins lose. I have 30 brownie points to Chris Knobloch. If he thinks he's starting Calvin Pickard in Game 4 and thought enough about Game 4 to put Calvin Pickard in for the third period to get a little taste of playoff hockey against the Vancouver Canucks, then good on him, and I'm giving him 30 Calvin Pickard brownie points for that. And last not least, because I can't give out a whole lot of brownie points for a loss, I am going to give 1,000 brownie points to all the moms out there who have made us the kids that we are. Thank you, moms. Happy Mother's Day. These 1,000 brownie points are for you.
I love it. I think that's a great way to wrap up the brownie points. But Zach Cassian, I heard he was there, and he's quite the guy. A really good character, and yeah, he's so funny. He's funny.
He's funny. He was on our pregame show, and I know you've been on lots of times with us and Reed, but he was on it, and I wasn't there yet. I was driving in, and he dropped an F-bomb on 6:30 Ched tonight as well.
Yeah.
He used some colorful language, Struds. Some colorful language tonight in Edmonton.
He sure does. He's an absolute beauty, that guy. And at the height of his power here as an Oiler, he's a great Oiler. And he'll be well loved. The lamb chops will forever last here in Edmonton. All right, that was brownie points. Let's turn our attention now to everyone's favorite segment, Struddy's World, Zuby. When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. There? And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. God, I look good.
Okay, hang on. I'm coming in here.
There you go.
Here I am. I'm here to tell you that Struddy's World tonight is brought to you by Shipwreck Rum. Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by Shipwreck Rum. The Brindley family has been handcrafting their rum on the Caribbean island of St. Kitts for decades now. Their Shipwreck Vanilla is blended with natural Madagascar vanilla, which gives it an incredible smoothness. Take one sip and you'll agree it truly is a vacation in a bottle. Get Shipwrecked, Oilers fans. Available at your local liquor retailer, and please enjoy responsibly. Struddy, what do you got tonight?
Yeah, my kids like to watch these dinosaur movies, and we check it out. And we had an argument a little while ago about apex predators, and they felt that someone felt that the Velociraptor was, but my younger son said no. The true apex predator is the T-Rex because they're the biggest, they're the strongest, and their teeth and all this stuff. And in this series, you have many Velociraptors running around for both teams, but the apex predator so far in this series has been Nikita Zadorov. He is doing what he wants, when he wants, and how he wants to do it. Today, he hit Kane into the bench, and Kane is one of the Oilers' pushback features, supposed to be that guy. And Zadorov's a big guy and hit him into the bench, and I didn't really like the whole penalties for both teams. But anyways, the point is he put him in there. After the game, he just hammers McDavid from behind. He is controlling this game physically. He's scoring, he's making plays, killing penalties. He's doing it all. And, there's been times like Darnell Nurse that hit on Pettersson. He's these guys are trying to chip in. But if Zadorov is able to continue to be this presence, he's even chirping our city, saying there's nothing to do here except watch hockey, which was a pretty funny line, actually. I'll give him credit. He's everywhere, Brownie. So I think right now, I don't know how you change that away from Zadorov, but he is the apex predator in this series and having his way with it.
100%, Stretch. You're absolutely right. He and you're drawn to him every time he's on the ice. He would be a guy that if he was wearing the Edmonton Oilers jersey, he would be the fan favorite. Like everyone would be wearing a Zadorov jersey because he's that kind of player. It's hard. I don't know what you do because physically you go and run him. Do you even budge him? He's a 250-pound man. The Vancouver Canucks made a couple trades this year. They went and got Lindholm, who has been excellent in this series, and they got Zadorov, who has been all-world in this series. It makes you wonder what happened with Calgary. They got rid of all these good players, but You're right. To me, if there was one, if you said, Brownie, give me one reason why the Canucks are up 2-1. I mean, you could look at Silovs, but I actually think I might actually say Nikita Zadorov is the one reason right now that the Canucks have a 2-1 lead in this series.
He's been an unexpected difference maker. Now, I think I highlighted him before the series. I thought that this guy was going to be important. He was the best player, I think, or most consistent player for Vancouver in that first series. And this round, he's been a very impactful player. I think you could also look at Lindholm as an impactful player. Obviously, Brock Besser tonight, JT Miller, and Silovs. Like, those guys are getting it done. So, the Oilers need someone to kind of step up. And you're right, physically, it's going to be hard to get to him. I think the way he gets his Zadorov is this way. And we saw it a few years ago when you were playing against the Flames. You have to force him by putting pressure on him, make him, toss the puck up like a grenade. He is not Chris Pronger, although he's acting like it. But the Oilers have to try to put more pressure on him. I think that the system they're playing is protecting him. There's not a ton of time to have to handle the puck. But if possible, try to make him unsure of what he's doing with the puck. Because right now he is feeling it. He's absolutely wheeling and dealing all over the ice. And that is not who he is. Not this. He's playing well above who he is right now. And that's good timing for the Canucks and for him.
Yeah, that's a great point. So there's a shift tonight where he actually tried lugging the puck out instead of making an easy play. I can't remember who it was that dogged him on the Oilers, and he turned the puck over. I think that's the one thing you do. Don't go run at him. Just continue to dog him. Hit his stick, lift his stick. Try and force him to play with the puck because he's not Quinn Hughes. So
he's not.
Force him, dump it in his corner. Just keep giving him the puck and let him make a mistake because you know as well as I do, doesn't matter how good a player you are, how long a pro you are, confidence is fleeting. And if you make a couple of mistakes, all of a sudden you start to doubt yourself a bit. They need Zadorov doubting himself a little bit right now.
I get that forecheck up and running and chip it just behind him. You don't have to put it in the corner, just put it behind him. So now he has to turn, try to make a play under pressure. But man, apex predator, that defines Nikita Zadorov. Okay, let's check out here with Brownie. Brownie, you got to get to bed, buddy. You got an early morning tomorrow morning.
I do. Got to go teach some kids how to back check tomorrow, Strud. So I'll see you on the ice tomorrow afternoon, too. Have a great end of the show, Struddy.
I'll bring it home.
Take care,
I'll bring it home.
See you, Brownie. Okay,
I know you will. Bye, guys.
That's Shaugger calling in anyway, so this will work out nicely, I think. Let's see. We got Shaugger on the phone.
Okay. Well, as you're doing that.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. I'll get him right here. Now we should have him. Shaugger, you there?
Yeah, I got you now.
There he is. All right, good timing. It's now time for Take a Lap as our good buddy Ryan Shaugger rejoins us from Backscape, brought to you by Backscape, the fastest growing male grooming company on the planet. Just got even better. Backscape 2.0, engineered for back shaving. The new friction fit handle allows you to effortlessly snap the shaver in and out to touch up the rest of your body. The new titanium shave head gives a smoother, more comfortable shave that respects your skin. Go to Backscape.com and use promo code GYB10 for 10% off your first order of an advanced or deluxe 2.0 kits. That's BAKscape.com. Stay smooth, gentlemen.
Hey, Strud.
Oh, I nailed that one. Yeah.
You did. Stay smooth. You put all the base you have into that. I got two quick questions because I missed my two favorite segments, Struddy's World and Brownie Points. Number one, did I lose any brownie points for anything tonight? I like to keep track of my tally. And two, give me the headline on what Struddy's World was.
No, you didn't lose any points. It was
nice.
A very good one by Brownie. And the Struddy's World, the essence is that Nikita Zadorov is the apex predator in this series, and how the Oilers can try to combat that by putting the puck behind him and making him feel uncomfortable with the puck on his stick. Because I think right now he feels very comfortable. That you can't hit him because he's too big, but make him feel uncomfortable.
How many times do you think Sam Carrick will ask him to fight next game if he's in? Sam Carrick will do anything in his power to get that guy to go.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably the right answer. I think you have to just kind of hack and whack him and try to take him down. I love Sam Carrick and I love his effort, but he is not equipped to fight that guy. Honestly, if I'm Zadorov, I'd just laugh and just push him away and keep skating because he's so far this series, Carrick has had zero impact
this year.
Yeah, but
Carrick is willing though. He'll fight the toughest guys out there.
But why would Zadorov, like, Carrick's had no impact? You're inviting him into the series if you fight him. So you just laugh and say, "Get out of the way, little man," and you just keep playing the game. Okay, let's get to take a lap. We've talked a couple times about it. I'm going to get to my opinion. Sam Bennett crashing the Boston Bruin player into their goalie and then scoring a power play goal on it. I looked it up, and there's a rule that says if you have any time, here it is. I'll credit Sportsnet for this. It says in their article, if a defending player is pushed, shoved, or fouled by an attacking player so as to cause the defending player to come in contact with his own goalkeeper, such contact shall be deemed contact initiated by the attacking player for the purposes of this rule, and is, if necessary, a penalty assessed to the attacking player. And if a goal is scored, it will not be allowed, or it should be disallowed. That's Rule 69, the old rule book. Guys, I saw this. I watched it many times. It's clear that he pushed the player in there. You had the open opportunity. Now, either A, the reason he's able to score is because Swayman was unable to get over because of it, or B, he was able to tap it in because the player was no longer standing up vertically to challenge him for that puck. So I've said this to many friends. I'll say it here. I have no idea what it is or is not goalie interference anymore. I would have bet the rest of my hair and my best hairpiece on saying that was not a goal. And it's outrageous that it was given a goal. And I just don't understand it. I don't think anyone clearly understands what is goal interference. And I'm definitely in that camp.
So I will admit I only saw this once. I was getting ready for the game and on my way and in the media room and all of that. But Zuby, I know you have a strong opinion on this one. So I will defer to Zuby on the conversation here, bud.
Well, yeah, no, you might think I'm going to be on the goalie side, but I'm not. I watched this one. I mean, I saw it a couple times. I didn't examine it. It doesn't sound like to the level that Struds did. But yeah, I don't. I am on the goalie side, but I wouldn't always expect Struddy to be on the goalie side. Yeah, I can't imagine you impair him from attempting to make the second save. Or on the path, whatever it was, he's impaired from doing it because his own defender is pushed onto him. So to me, yeah, I was very surprised that it wasn't called.
Yeah, and that's fair. That usually I am against the goalie because I feel like they're pushing out, they're flopping around. He didn't even have a chance to flop. He had no chance to flop because his player was laying on top of him. That's what I don't understand. Like guys, I'm saying I do not understand that rule. It's unclear. So don't ever ask me if that should or shouldn't have been one because I thought I knew, but now it's clear I don't. And I felt that way for probably most of this year. Very, very unsure of what it is. And I can only imagine how the players feel and coaches were on that ice. The other little ditty here will stay in that series. Nico Mikola. He's been around a little bit. I believe he was in St. Louis, went to the Rangers. He played tonight for the Florida Panthers. And this guy played about, I think it was like 11 or 12 minutes. He had 6 hits in that time. Now, this has been a very physical series. I get it. But 10, 11 minutes of ice time.
Hips don't matter.
And you need to, he's finding a way to contribute. And I watched some of that game and he is being physical. And I raise this because you know more than I about where Darnay and CCR physically, but you need to find a way to check into the series physically and help out the guys that are trying to do it. And I think you have kind of a gang mentality. We're all going to chip in and get 2-3 hits a night. And again, it's not because you need to break them in half, but you want to invest in that, wearing them down. And the Oilers as a group aren't doing it. But look at Florida. I think actually every one of those players had a hit in that game, every single one of them. All righty. That was Take a Lap. Shaugger, you lose your butt?
Sorry, he's here.
I'm back now.
My phone flipped. Yeah. I don't know why. Without touching my phone, it flipped you to speakerphone. But you're back.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. Sorry. So I missed that last point you were talking about Mikola.
Yeah, Mikola. Like the Oilers need to get a gang-like mentality where everyone tries to chip in. Right? Mikola had 6 hits, and I'm not suggesting you need to have everyone, but everyone chip in. Everyone make this happen. So it's just investing in that physical part of the game. Like I thought actually Quinn Hughes had a relatively light night tonight physically, which is
that can't happen.
Right.
Yeah, you can't let Quinn Hughes have a light night. I mean, you can't, he needs to at least be, guys need to be trying to get to him and trying to lay the body on him. And I agree with you, Strud, that it get way too light at night. So it's, yeah, man, I just think there's a style of play that's required at this time of year. And I think the problem is the Oilers have too many guys who don't make it part of what they're expected to do and don't make it part of what they do during the regular season. And so now here you are in the playoffs, and it's like you're asking apples to be oranges because you need it. You have to have it. And if you have players that don't know how to do it and it doesn't come naturally in important positions and you have too many of them, well, now you're not playing the right style of game. So I completely agree, man. I think it's required at this time of year. And there are far too many guys in this lineup who feel like it's not part of their responsibility. And that, I mean, sure, the coach can do something about that, but I'm not sure he's going to. But that has to come from the room too.
Yeah, everyone's got a chip. It's got to be a gang-like mentality. Okay, that was taken a lap by everyone. Let's slide now into Ask Us Anything. Brought to you by Match Eatery and Public House. It was rocking over there tonight. Happy hour is better at Match Pub Ice District. Score 20% off appetizers, half-price wine, and other drink specials every day from 2 to 4 p.m. Located adjacent to Rogers Place in Grand Villa Casino, Edmonton. For more info, visit matchpub.com. And where do you want to start with this one, Zoobs?
Just for fun, I threw a poll up and I basically asked kind of two questions. I said, who would you like, the listener and the viewers, who would you like to see start the next game in goal? Who do you think the Oilers will start? And double Pickard won at 48% and Skinner at 27%. But basically, if we're going to break it down, is they think we got about 55% think that the team will start Calvin Pickard next game, and about 64% want it to be Calvin Pickard. So we'll see. That was and quite a few votes, 190 votes on the stream. So thanks for everyone.
Would you guys agree, Struddy, would you agree that it's the gutsier decision is to make the change and go to Pickard? That's the tougher decision for this head coach to make? Or do you think it would be tougher, considering the stakes, to continue on with Stuart Skinner?
Yeah, I think the tougher is to go with Pickard. And I've been thinking what I think it was I think it might have been Brownie who said that, or maybe it was you, that if you go away from Skinner and it doesn't go well in game 4, now you're going back to a quote unquote, I don't know if that's a word, but broken or disappointed Skinner. I know personally how I'd react. I'd be really pissed off. If I got skipped in game 4, I'd be coming back and I'd be pissed right off that I didn't get to play in that. I'd be mad at my coach that he didn't give me a chance to go in there after what I've done for him the last year. So I'm not sure where Skinner would go with that, but I know that's how I'd react. And maybe that would be enough, right? But I feel strongly. I think it's going to be Pickard. Hearing his comments after him being Knobloch, I think we see Pickard.
By the way, I'm sorry, Zuby, I'll hand this back to you in a second, but is there any pathway to Sam Gagner being flipped in there, Strud? Like, maybe if you talk about taking Corey Perry out, I mean, is there any thought, Sam? I mean, he can find moments, got the veteran experience like Perry. I've been watching him every day, man. He's working his guts off, like trying to stay ready. He's sitting there, and we've talked about it before. Sam Gagner has a way of finding moments.
Pure energy, right? He brings pure energy into a group, and he brings a little bit of more playmaking to that bottom 6 than maybe currently is in there. So does that help get you a little bit of offense out of guys that maybe aren't there? So it's interesting you bring him up now. I'm like, okay, that's a kind of a neat thought. And after I think after him, Knobloch, seeing what happened with the two guys that came in for Vancouver, I wonder if a set of fresh legs and a lot of excitement would maybe help kind of get that bottom 6
fans
going.
would love it. The fans would love it, dude.
Yeah.
I just realized I got Shaugger up there still as Brownie. I'm going to change that.
Oh, no worries, buddy. Happy to be Brownie. My honor.
Yeah, maybe Gagner even just for a game, for that injection of something. I don't know, because you're right. It doesn't seem to be a long-lasting effect, but he always brings it for for a game, and on home ice too, the fans would be excited. Okay, we're pretty long here, so I got a few I want to get to, so we'll try to be quick here with these. My buddy Merle here, who I met here in Kelowna, who's actually friends with TR, he wants me to ask this. I won't get quite into sort of the way he phrased it, but talking about the McDavid thing with Soucy and Zadorov at the end of the game, his big issue, and we talked about this a little bit, but that nobody pushed back for the Oilers, and you didn't have those guys on the ice particularly, but were you guys disappointed that there wasn't a response? There was just a little, nobody came flying in.
I see the problem is at the end of the game, they've been out there a long time. I thought everyone was in the pile, but who do you want? Like, who's going to beat up Zadorov? I just went through his apex predator. So who's the guy? Do you want Bouchard, Ekholm, Hyman, Draisaitl, Nuge, or McDavid to deal with that guy? Or Soucy? Like, who are the guys? What do you like? I understand everyone's a hero till they get on the ice and looking at these two monsters. So I thought everyone did collect in that area quite quickly to try to neutralize it. But what do you want? You want Leon to square off them at center ice? I mean, come on, we got to wake up here, people. That's just not happening.
I didn't see. I want to watch it again because you're kind of questioning guys' courage a little bit if we get into whether they should or shouldn't have been in there. I want to see it again. Like, the D-men are usually the ones, right? They're the ones that are seeing everything happen from behind. They've got a good look at everything. So I'm not sure what their role was in all of that. But bottom line, here's the point. Connor McDavid takes dual cross checks at the buzzer, gets flattened. I want to see every single Oiler within 5 feet of him tying somebody up, creating a scrum, and getting in there. That's what's required in that moment. So I'll have to watch it again to decide if anybody didn't do that or didn't do enough of that. But definitely it needs to draw a big, big crowd. Nobody needs to square off, but the more of you there are there, the less chance that has to happen.
Yeah, it was a scrum. Nobody seemed particularly outraged, and it ended up with Connor kind of talking to the refs as much as anything. That sort of ended up being like the outstanding image of the last couple minutes there. Okay, what else did I have here? Lucky Stream says, do you think the Oilers underestimated the Canucks?
I don't know how they would have. They got
think the
stomped
players
by
did.
them all year long. Yeah.
Yeah. The players didn't. I believe the fans did.
Right. Nathan Jameson said, quite sarcastically, what a deadline from Ken Holland. 2 healthy scratches and an injured guy. No Cody Ceci replacement because he's, quote, a good guy. I mean, it's 2-1. This series isn't over, but does that have the potential to be the legacy of this trade deadline if that's how the Oilers went out?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, if Adam Henrique doesn't get healthy and get contributing here, and Sam Carrick barely plays, and Troy Stetcher doesn't get a sniff, and you coughed up. I mean, you always risk when you're trading a player for a first-round pick that if that player gets hurt, it's tough. But 100% Strud, that if they don't get a meaningful contribution here from Adam Henrique before all is said and done, then that will not end up being a good look at all.
That's the big one. Troy Stetcher, I don't think we can. That's not overvalue, or blow up, inflate what he is.
Sure.
He is the extra guy. That's what he is. That's his job. But the other two, specifically Henrique, you need him. They need him right now. They brought him in to, build on make this top 9 stronger. And most recently the top 6, he's not there. So, and then Carrick's not playing. So I would think Carrick gets in next game, although I said that previously as well after the first loss in game 1.
Okay, 2 more quick ones. Bobo Fett said, talking about Skinner not doing media, right decision regardless of league media requirements to protect a vulnerable tender. Shaugger, you're there, so do you think what's your gut? Is that Skinner saying, nah, not tonight, or the team protecting him?
Yeah, that's Skinner saying not tonight. Yeah, which is why I don't want it to come across like media whining, because I think it's, honestly for me, it's more just about analyzing Stuart Skinner, and part of the decision moving forward is, okay, do you think he's prepared to bounce back? Do you think he's in the headspace to bounce back? Where do you think he's at? And it was just extremely out of character for one of the most accountable players that they have to make that decision. So, yeah, I believe it probably was Skinner saying not tonight. And I know fans just sort of think, well, I'm glad he didn't talk, let him rest. But I'm telling you people that in the Stanley Cup final, if you want, like these players have no choice but to talk. There's no choice. So you better be ready and you better be used to doing it. They need to be prepared to play terrible, answer questions from the media, and get back in there and play good next game, because that's what's waiting for you in the third and fourth round. So that's the only thing I would say to fans. You want players that are used to answering the bell when it comes to this stuff, because when they get to the big stage, they have no choice. So you're either ready for it or you are not.
Okay, let's end this movie. We're just about to get to the credits of this movie here. With what last one, Rutger Arbuckle III said Nucks goalie had no. He said the Nucks goalie had no experience, period, playoffs or otherwise. So I think playing Pickard because he has no playoff experience is a moot point. Love Skinny, but Picks is our guy for Game 4, as he puts it. So one other perspective that certainly, I mean, the Canucks had their hand forced, but maybe the Oilers, maybe that's how they're feeling now as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in there. I think Pickard's going to be in there. Just listen to the coach's availability. I think that's where we're at. Okay, guys, let's wrap this bad boy up with our play of the day, brought to you by Play Alberta. The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder, making a deposit with promo code GYB50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boosts on every Oiler playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of Lower Bowl or even exclusive suite seats for an Oiler playoff game just by making a bet on Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Guys, I've got this one. The play of the day for me was the shift. I think it was the first or second shift. Joshua Dakota and Lindholm both run Matthias Ekholm. Came ready to play. The Oilers weren't ready to play. They chased the first period. Then they were chasing the rest of the game, boys.
The best solid runner-up would be Nikita Zadorov putting Kane into the bench. Just those bench hits are always they're always entertaining. Kane was laughing after. And by the way, I'm not sure if Brownie took 100 Brownie points away from the refs for making a weak-ass call both ways. It shouldn't have been a penalty for Zadorov. It shouldn't have been a penalty for the Oiler bench. Get out of the way and let playoff hockey happen.
I just wanted to say on the Ekholm one, on the second one, that looked like a cartoon or something. He lost his stick whenever they showed him the slow motion. The stick's twirling up over his head as he goes. It was actually comical. I felt bad for him, but holy cow.
So much fun. This was a long one, guys. Thanks for hanging in. Struds, great job tonight, my man.
Likewise. I'll talk to you guys Tuesday.
Okay,
Someday.
Zuby, rock solid, my friend. We'll talk. Yeah, you know what? We'll text tomorrow. We might have to squeeze another one in before the next game, but we'll figure it out. Keep an eye on our social media, folks, and we'll let you know when our next podcast is going to drop. Thank you for hanging in with us real late here. Just a great number joining us on the live stream, and we really appreciate everybody that tunes in podcast form or on YouTube after the fact. Oilers down 2-1. They're in one, folks. Next game, absolutely pivotal, and we will break it all down when it's done. Thanks for tuning in to Got Your Back, presented by Sherwood Buick GMC.